My speech is about same-sex wedding. It is about a same-sex wedding cake case where the Supreme Court sides with Phillips. Jack Phillips opened Masterpiece Cake Shop in Lakewood, Colorado in 1993. He stated when he opened it that he may not make everything that people request of him due to religious beliefs. But in 2012, David Mullins and Charlie Craig came to him and asked if he would make them a cake for their wedding, which the wedding was going to be in a different state because they were not allowed to get married in Colorado yet. Philip said no because of religious belief, and he offered to make them other goods, though, as they were leaving, but Phillips and Craig felt like they didn't want to take it. So Mullins and Craig contacted the Colorado Civil Rights Commission and stated how they felt and how Phillips responded to them. And they said that he ruled against their sexual orientation. And the Colorado Civil Rights Commission ruled in Mullins and Craig's favor. Well, then, Phillips was contacted about this, obviously, and he ruled against this, and the case eventually was brought up to the Supreme Court. Now, Mullins and Craig's main defense was that Phillips was against their sexual orientation when really it was Phillips' religious belief that told him that he couldn't make this cake. So Phillips' main point was his religious belief, stating that he wasn't going to make a wedding cake for a same-sex couple because he didn't believe in that. He said he didn't do wedding cakes for any other people, so if it was two women, he wouldn't do it, or things like that. He said that an artist doesn't make a cake stating what he doesn't believe. So he designs things that he believes in. And so there were other cases like this that were also in the Supreme Court at the time. Like a flower shop was asked to make flowers for a same-sex wedding, and this was being argued against because the florist was against this and refused to do these flowers. So the Supreme Court ruling was a 7-2 decision, and it sided with Philip. And to the LGBT community, this was a huge deal. They said this was a major setback, and Craig and Mullin felt like they needed to keep fighting for this, and they felt like this was a major conflict for them. Craig and Mullin also felt like this was only for religion and that the Supreme Court didn't look at it as the sexual orientation side. But the Supreme Court's defense was he wasn't looking at you as a sexual orientation, he was looking at you as the religion side, where like you two are getting married. And so the Supreme Court, since there was such a big lashback about this, they said that the new cases would have they would try to be equal for religion and sexual orientation. There was also somebody who commented that even though there's no symbols or words on a wedding cake, the wedding cake itself is a symbol of a marriage. And when you ask somebody to make you a wedding cake, you know that the cake is symbolizing the marriage, which to Phillips it symbolized that marriage, so he didn't want to make it. And this fight lasted for 6 whole years, this battle did. And the Trump administration stood behind Phillips, and they said that they agreed with him that this wasn't a sexual orientation case, this was a religious case. And that's why during the First Amendment, this falls into that place. And that he rightfully won because he has the right with his religion. And so for Philip's family, this was very difficult on him because this battle lasted 6 years, and he was getting backlash from the LGBT community and just from different people, even though he was standing up for what he believed in and his the First Amendment rights and believing in his religion.